Is this the beginning of the end for the Chicago Bears front office dynasty before it even truly peaks? We are witnessing a level of success in the Windy City that hasn't been felt in decades. But there is a dark cloud looming over Hallis Hall that no one wants to talk about. The cost of winning in the NFL is incredibly high, and it isn't just about the salary cap or player contracts. It's about the people who build the machine. But before we dive into this massive update that could change the future of the Bears forever, I need you to do something for me right now. Please, comment the city you are watching from. I want to see where the Bears family is representing today. Also, if you love this team, leave a like on the video right now and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a breaking update. Seriously, hit that subscribe button. It helps us bring you the best Bears coverage every single day. Now, let's get into the heart of the matter. The Chicago Bears have attained a level of success this season that has shocked the entire league. After years of wandering in the wilderness of mediocrity, the blueprint laid out by General Manager Ryan Poles is finally bearing fruit. However, that success has made the Bears a target. Winning in the NFL breeds intense interest from other organizations, and right now, every team with a vacancy is looking at Chicago to see who they can poach. We saw it last January when the Bears themselves poached Ben Johnson from the Detroit Lions. Now, the shoe is on the other foot. The man in the crosshairs is Assistant General Manager Ian Cunningham. If you haven't been paying close attention to the front office, you need to understand that Ian Cunningham is widely considered the secret weapon behind this roster's total transformation. He is the right hand of Ryan Poles, and his resume is arguably the most impressive of any executive in the league today. On Saturday, January 3rd, Jonathan Jones of CBS Sports laid out the compelling case for why Cunningham is about to be handed the keys to his own franchise. This isn't just a rumor, it's an impending reality. Cunningham's background is elite. He played at Virginia, had a stint with the Kansas City Chiefs, and then learned the scouting trade under the legendary Ozzie Newsome in Baltimore. Think about that for a second. He was forged in the Ravens way, a culture known for Hall of Fame drafting. He won a Super Bowl there. Then he moved to the Philadelphia Eagles to work under Howie Roseman, perhaps the most aggressive and successful GM in the game today. He won another Super Bowl ring there. Since joining the Bears in 2022, he has been instrumental in the rebuild that turned a 3-14 team into a potential Super Bowl contender. He has been involved in the massive trades, including the haul for the #1 pick, the evaluation of Caleb Williams, and the hiring of Ben Johnson. This man is a winner, and the NFL knows it. He actually turned down the Arizona Cardinals GM job in 2023 because he believed in what the Bears were building. He was a finalist for the Commanders and Jaguars jobs. But now, with the Bears sitting at 11-5 and winning the NFC North, his stock has never been higher. The league is ready to pick our pockets. Imagine the impact of losing his scouting eye just as the Bears are entering their championship window. The synergy between Poles and Cunningham has been the foundation of this turnaround. They have introduced new technologies, new scouting processes, and a new school approach that has modernized a franchise that was stuck in the 1980s for far too long. To see him leave now, while we are on the verge of the playoffs, is a bitter pill to swallow. Historically, the Bears have struggled to maintain front office continuity during successful runs. Think back to the Jerry Angelo era or the fleeting success under Ryan Pace. We haven't had this level of executive talent since the Jim Finks days. Losing Cunningham isn't just losing an employee, it's losing a visionary. The statistical turnaround of this roster since Cunningham and Poles took over is staggering. They inherited a roster stripped of talent and turned it into a unit with Pro Bowlers at almost every level. They managed the salary cap with surgical precision, allowing them to bring in veterans like Montez Sweat while still having the flexibility to pay a rookie quarterback. This is the cost of success that Max Dibble from Heavy.com recently highlighted. When you win, people want a piece of your magic. We are currently preparing for a massive Week 18 game against the Detroit Lions at Soldier Field, but the distraction of these front office rumors is starting to boil over. The Bears are 11-5, they have the division locked up, and they are fighting for the #2 seed. If we win, or if the Eagles lose to the Commanders, we host the Green Bay Packers in the first round. Can you imagine the atmosphere? The playoffs returning to Chicago with a chance to knock out our biggest rival? It's what we've dreamed of. But the irony is that the man who helped build this roster to defeat the Packers might be cleaning out his desk by the time the Super Bowl kicks off. We have to analyze what this means for the draft.
Ian Cunningham is a scouting specialist. Without him, does Ryan Poles have the same success rate in the middle rounds? Does the Bears' way continue, or does it stumble? These are the questions that keep fans awake at night. We have seen what happens when a GM loses his top assistant. Look at the drop-off in some other franchises after their scouting directors were hired away. The Bears are at a crossroads where their success is actually their biggest threat. But we aren't done yet. In the next part, we are going to dive deep into the financial implications, the specific teams that are targeting Cunningham right now, and what Ryan Poles must do to replace a man who is essentially irreplaceable. Don't go anywhere, because the second half of this analysis is even more explosive.
Now, let's get into the deep dive analysis of what an Ian Cunningham departure truly means for the Chicago Bears' financial and tactical future. If Cunningham leaves, it's not just a vacancy in the office, it's a disruption of the entire organizational flow. When you look at the Chicago Bears' current salary cap situation, they are in a position of power. They have millions in cap space heading into 2025, largely due to the disciplined approach Cunningham and Poles took during the initial tear-down phase. They didn't overpay for mid-tier talent, they waited for the right opportunities. But managing that cap while transitioning into a win-now mode requires an elite executive mind. Cunningham's experience with Howie Roseman in Philadelphia is the key here. Roseman is the master of the void year and creative contract structures. Cunningham brought those philosophies to Chicago. Without him, can the Bears continue to navigate the massive contract extensions coming up for their young stars? We are talking about potential record-breaking deals for guys who will be the core of this team for the next decade. If the Bears lose Cunningham to a team like the Jets or the Raiders, two teams rumored to be looking for a complete culture shift, they lose the guy who knows where the bodies are buried in terms of the roster's value. Rumors are circulating that the Bears might try to offer Cunningham a massive salary increase to keep him as a super assistant. But in the NFL, the title of general manager is the ultimate prize. You cannot turn down the chance to run your own show. This brings us to the tactical implications on the field. The relationship between the front office and the coaching staff is vital. Ben Johnson was brought in because his offensive philosophy matched the type of players Cunningham and Poles were drafting. If a new assistant GM comes in with a different scouting eye, do we see a disconnect in 2 or 3 years? These are the long-term risks of front office turnover. Looking at the immediate future, the Week 18 matchup against Detroit is a chess match. The Bears are looking to lock up that number 2 seed. If they get it, they host Green Bay. If they lose and the Eagles win, they could be facing the Rams or the 49ers. The path to the Super Bowl is significantly easier as the 2 seed. The analytical model suggests that playing at Soldier Field in January gives the Bears a 15% higher win probability due to the wind and surface conditions that this specific roster was built to handle. Cunningham helped build this team to play Chicago football, physical, fast, and resilient. He scouted the offensive linemen who could hold up in the cold and the defensive backs who could track the ball in the wind. His fingerprints are all over this 11-5 record. Let's look at the fan sentiment. On Reddit and Twitter, Bears fans are torn. Half the fan base is celebrating the NFC North title, while the other half is terrified of the brain drain occurring in Hallis Hall. Fans are saying, give him whatever he wants to stay, but the NFL's Rooley Rule and the natural progression of careers make that difficult. We have to prepare for the reality that the 2025 NFL Draft might be the first one in years where Ryan Poles doesn't have his primary advisor by his side. That is a terrifying thought when you consider how important this upcoming draft is to solidify the dynasty. We have the draft capital, we have the franchise QB and Caleb Williams, but we need the scouting precision that Cunningham provides. If we look at historical comparisons, think about when the 49ers lost their key executives during their Super Bowl runs in the 80s, or when the Patriots lost their scouting directors to other teams. It always leads to a slight decline. The Bears are trying to build a sustainable winner, not a one-hit wonder. To do that, you need a deep bench of executive talent. Who replaces Cunningham? Will Poles promote from within, or will he have to go outside and bring in someone who doesn't know the Bears' way yet? This is the drama that happens behind the curtain. While we are all cheering for touchdowns on Sunday, the real battle is happening in the meeting rooms on Monday. The Bears are at the top of the mountain right now, but the wind is blowing hard. We have to hope that the foundation Cunningham helped build is strong enough to stand even if he isn't there to hold it up. In conclusion, the Chicago Bears are in a good problem situation. You only lose executives when you are winning. It's a sign of a healthy organization, but it's a hurdle that could define the next 5 years of Chicago football. We need to stay locked in. Make sure you are following every update. What do you think? Should the Bears break the bank to keep Ian Cunningham, or is his departure inevitable?
Do you think we can beat the Packers in the first round if we lock up that number 2 seed? Let me know in the comments right now. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more exclusive Chicago Bears news. We are going to be covering every single move leading up to the playoffs and the offseason. This is the best time to be a Bears fan in a generation, but we have to keep our eyes open. Thanks for watching, and as always, bear down.